Hey y'all, coming at you with a early October update out here in the garden, and things are moving along nicely. So I want to provide everyone with what I've had going on and provide you also an update on some of the wildlife that's been out here. So over here on this side of my garden, if you remember from some of my previous videos, I had planted parsnips, and I had a pretty decent luck with this planter right here, but I was noticing that a lot of my seedlings, the leaves were just getting chewed up. And what I found out was that was happening from a combination of what I believe to be moles, and I'll show you this device I got here to try to get rid of them. And then also I had roly-polies inside of my compost bin that were helping to break down the food, and once that compost got transported over, they had nothing to eat. So they started devouring the tops of my seedlings, which forced me to have to replant quite a bunch of new parsnips over here after the first ones got eaten. And then I also had slugs in the garden, and if you look on some other videos, you'll see some slug bait that I use, and the slug bait helped get rid of the slugs for the most part, and it also helped get rid of some of the roly-polies as well. So, and roly-poly, just look it up on Google. There's a scientific name, but that's what we called them in the South growing up, so that's what I call them. Over here, my peas, these are sugar snap peas, and they're looking really nice. I've got a combination of loose leaf and head lettuce. So these are my head lettuces here. These are my loose leaf lettuces, which I'll start harvesting soon. I've got my beets right here looking great. Over here I've got my chard, which is doing really nicely. So this is my fjord hook, and this is a rainbow chard, as well as this, is a rainbow pink chard. Those will be looking ready to harvest here anytime I would like. They're already ready to eat. Down here I've got some broccolinis, which I've had in the ground for about 2 weeks, and they're doing pretty good. I've got some garlic, some spinach that I had to replant because the tops got chewed off. And then over here I've got more garlic, more spinach, which was replanted after it got destroyed. This is a matador spinach, and you can see this is one of the ones that survived before I had to do a replant. But this stuff is really good. It's off high mowing seeds, and it produces really big leaves about like this big, and it's very prolific. Over here I've got more lettuce that I planted directly in the ground. It's been going for about 2 weeks. Pumpkins, cabbage, parsnips from my original planting, which lasted. These guys did good, so they'll make it. Same over here, I've got parsnips, and then these are carrots that made it from my original planting, that also got the tops chewed from the roly-polies, but they made it through okay. Over here I've got more carrots as well. I've got pumpkins, beets that are doing nicely. I got cabbage that's coming along great. This one survived from the original planting, so it's really starting to take off. And this one was a replant because it had gotten eaten from slugs, as well as this one. I've got more garlic, and over here I've got red onions that I had actually grown last year. They didn't fully develop, so I just hung dry them for 6-7 months, and now I've got them planted and they sprouted back again. And then basically the same goes along the rest of the bed. I've got lettuce, I've got kale. Over here I've got more cabbage. You can see right here where this one took a little bit of damage, so I'm hoping it'll regenerate some leaves and bounce back. If not, it'll just be a loss and I'll plant something else there. And then over here I've got new carrots that were planted. They got destroyed. And I've got a few new carrots over here that got replanted because they got destroyed. So overall, very pleased. I'm also still getting tomatoes, which is hilarious because it's October, but they're still producing, so I'm still eating them. And I actually got 2 brandywines finally from my tomato plant out front that I thought would be a total loss, but it was a sucker. And I got 3 really nice big brandywines. So that's about it for the garden update today. Let me show you one more thing. I went online for my moles, and I got this Solar Sonic mole repeller from VecBee off of Amazon. It was like 28 bucks, but it regenerates off of solar power. And what you do is you put it down in the ground. I'll show you real quick. Put it down in the ground like this, and then every so often it just vibrates, and that's supposed to anger the moles and keep them from crawling around in your garden. I determined that I had moles or some type of ground pest in my garden because in the morning times I was noticing paw prints throughout my garden. And then right here in my beets, this whole section had collapsed completely. Just I put my hand down in it and it was a big gaping hole, minus just a little bit of dirt. And then over here on the side, I don't know if you can see this, but I had soil that was everywhere. And then over here I had a big hole. So I think what happened was somehow, and I don't know how, because this enclosure is completely encased and there's nowhere that I could see any type of entrance from an outside pest. But I'm anticipating somehow a ground squirrel or a mole or something buried underneath my ground and then came into the garden and was coming up in the morning times. I've had these in place now for about, I'd say, a week. I haven't noticed any type of paw prints in the garden the past couple of mornings. So I'm just going to keep an eye out and hope that that solved my problem. And if it did, I would encourage you to take a look at that Solar Sonic Mole Repeller online, because it seems to be working for me. That's all I have. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe. Have a good one.